There we go. All right, you've been anointed. Down Caesar Shadem, thoughts on the toxic event in Palestine, Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio. I live in Cincinnati, hours away, but they cut our water supply Monday because the chems came downstream. That's probably going to be happening for a while. I totally get it. I think it's going to happen to everyone along the Ohio. It's going to happen along the Mississippi, all the way down to New Orleans, and they will test everything consistently. I don't know if I don't know when it would be determined safe, or if it will be determined safe, or if ever it will be truly safe. As a, Probably going to take quite a few rainstorms and washing that stuff off the top of the soil and into the surface streams before it kind of clears out of the top water, surface water. But a lot of it will leach into the soil and go deep into the groundwater and affect that stuff for a long time. That's what's going to happen. But yeah, anyone who's downstream of the Ohio River, expect similar things. Expect to be shut down. Reclaimers in Columbus, I'm kind of worried about the water. Good thing is in Columbus, like the prevailing winds go to the east, so you guys shouldn't have too much fallout from everything that happened in East Palestine. It's going to be the folks that are downstream from them and the ones that are east of them that will have the most like from all that. Downstairs you shade them. There's no bottled water at the stores here. People flocked to it like toilet paper in 2020. I'm freaked out, but I always like that. Apparently, Trump went to East Palestine to go shake hands and kind of campaign a little bit. And he gave everybody a whole bunch of Trump water. Problem is that Trump water expired 13 years ago when the company went bankrupt. So it's been sitting in a warehouse for 13 years. So people got a whole bunch of like expired water, which is weird to think about, but like after a while the chemicals in the bottles break down and the water's no good anymore. But I mean, might as well trade one bad water for another bad water. Cat, don't eat that. Ron Johnson, is it true the company testing the water is owned by the same company responsible for the spill in Ohio? I have no idea. I do know that the EPA is heavily underfunded. And when disasters like this happen, they just kind of go, well, the company says they're going to take care of it. And they just kind of throw their hands up and then nothing happens. So I wouldn't doubt if they're leaving the self-regulating up to the company that caused the disaster in the first place. What's crazy is, so the braking and track monitoring laws that were put into place in like 2014 and were repealed by the Trump administration would have, in 2017, those laws were set to make sure that every rail car in America met these regulations by January 1st of this year. Meaning, had those regulations not been thrown out, it's very likely this accident never would have happened. It appears the bearing caught on fire and burned for like 20 miles. And no one did anything about it. It was caught on security camera footage, like people, at the grocery store or whatever, gas station. The train goes by, It's 9,000 something feet long, so there's almost 2 miles of train. And then one of the tankers go by and then it's on fire. And that there are safety systems set up every 20, 30 miles along the tracks to like, hey, there's something wrong with this wheel as it went by, and notifies. But it happened between those two 20-mile sections and before it derailed. So it caught on fire maybe a mile after the detector and derailed a mile before the other detector. So these regulations, what they would have was detectors on the train itself, so it'd give you real-time updates as to the safety of that train. Also, there's other crazy problems with the regulations. This train that's 9,000 and whatever feet long had 20 cars full of toxic materials and another 130 that weren't toxic. But because the majority of the cars weren't toxic, it wasn't labeled a toxic load. So you didn't have to like do any of the safety things. And then the placards, this is something dangerous in here. This is what's in here placards were made out of plastic. So when the firefighters went to go respond, all the placards had melted and they couldn't tell what was in the tanks. So they had no idea how to respond or what chemicals they were dealing with. So there's a big failure. There's a big failure in how everything went down. So we definitely need to, be safer. I mean, Norfolk Southern had spent like $18 million lobbying to get these rules removed, and it would have cost them $25 million to just follow through. And now it's probably going to cost them $500 billion in lawsuits. So it's not saving them any money over any period of time, man. So, there. Okay.